Good morning, students. Hope that you have understood the two lectures given in previous videos. I told you that the rat trap seller took shelter, stole money of the crofter, and further he decided to walk through forest in order to save himself from being caught. But he lost his way. Suddenly, he heard sound coming from one direction, and thus he reached to an iron factory so that he could get shelter for that night. Now let us start from page number 36, third para. Okay? In those days, the Ramsjo iron mill was owned by a very prominent iron master whose greatest ambition was to ship out good iron to the market. He watched both night and day to see that the work was done as well as possible, and at this very moment he came into the forge on one of his nightly rounds of inspection. Let us see this paragraph. So, in those days, the owner of the Ramsjo iron mill was a very ambitious person. His aim was to sell the finest quality of iron in the market. So he used to take round both during night and the day to see whether the workers were being working properly or not. It was in his usual routine to keep a check on the workers. So on that night, the owner of the iron mill was on a night inspection visit when the peddler entered in the forge. I think this para is clear. Now, see the next one. Here, some difficult meanings are there. Already, prominent means important, and tramp means vagabond. Okay, now let us see the next paragraph. Naturally, the first thing he saw was the tall ragamuffin. Ragamuffin means ragged and dirty man, who had eased his way so close to the furnace that steam rose from his wet rags. The ironmaster did not follow the example of the blacksmiths, who had hardly deigned means polite, to look at the stranger. He walked close up to him, looked him over very carefully, then tore off. Tore off here means remove. His slouch. Slouch means bent. Slouch hat to get a better view of his face. Now see what we are finding in this paragraph. When the iron master or the owner of the iron mill entered inside the forge, he also noticed the peddler who was sitting very close to the furnace, and because of that, steam was coming out of his clothes. So, curiously, the iron master went near him to find out who he was. And when he came close, he did one thing. He removed the hat of the peddler, which was bent to one side. He removed that hat only because he just wanted to see the face clearly. Okay, now I think it is clear. Now see the next paragraph. But of course, it is you, Niels Olof, he said. How you do look. The old man with the rat traps had never before seen the ironmaster at Ramsjo and did not even know what his name was. But it occurred to him that if the fine gentleman thought he was an old acquaintance, he might perhaps throw him a couple of kroner. Kroner means Swedish currency. Therefore, he did not want to undeceive him all at once. Okay, now see, word meaning already given. Acquaintance means associate, undeceive, to tell someone that he believe is mistaken. Now see. So when the iron master took the hat of the rat trap sellers, he mistook him as an old acquaintance. Okay, and with whom he was familiar. His name was Niels Olof. So he mistook him as an old acquaintance, Niels Olof. But on the other hand, we find that the rat trap seller didn't know him. He had never seen the iron master before. But for a while he thought that if that man mistook him as his old companion, then there may be chance that he would give some money out of pity. In this way, it would be a good thing for him to get some money from the iron master. So he thought not to disclose his identity before him, that he was not his old friend Neil Solov but a rat trap seller. I think this is clear. Now see the next paragraph. Yes, God knows things have gone downhill with me, he said. You should not have resigned from the regiment, said the iron master. That was the mistake. If only I had still been in the service at the time, it never would have happened. Well, now of course, you will come home with me. Now let us see up to here. So, some words are there. Downhill means worst, regiment means unit in the army or defense forces. Now, see. So the rat trap seller decided to hide his identity and started a conversation with the iron master by saying that well things didn't well with him. He said that things were not in his favor, and because of that his life became miserable. Hearing this, the iron master replied that he had made a big mistake by leaving the regiment. He also told that because of his resignation, his life became miserable. Further, it is also found that the iron master invited to his house. Okay, he just wanted to help him, and that's why he invited the rat trap seller to his house so that he could help him. Okay, now let us see the next paragraph. To go along up to the manor house. This is the name of the house of the iron master. Okay, to go along up to the manor house and be received by the owner like an old regimental comrade. Comrade means here fellow. That, however, did not please the tramp. Okay, so here what we find that the rat trap seller, as I told you, that the Rattrap seller was invited by the iron master to his home. But this idea was not found as a good idea to him. Rather, what we find, he was frightened with the idea of visiting to the large house. Okay? So he decided not to go with him. Now see, no, I couldn't think of it, he said, looking quite alarmed. As I told you that he did not having interest to go with him, as he was afraid. He thought of the 30 roner to go up to the manor house would be like throwing himself voluntarily into the lion's den. He only wanted a chance to sleep here in the forge and then sneak away. Sneak away means here slink away, and inconspicuously. Inconspicuously means unobserved. He only wanted a chance to sleep here in the forge and then sneak away as inconspicuously as possible. Let us see up to here. So, as I told you, that he was not in a mood to go to the house of the iron master as he was afraid. Okay, for him, it was not a safe. It was not safe. And also, he knew very well that he had stolen the money of the crofter. And because of that, he might be in big problem if he gave his consent to go to his house. Therefore, he did not wanted to put his life in danger. His only intention, his only intentions were to sleep in the forge and then go away from there without even being noticed by others. Clear? So it is clear that he was not in a mood to leave the place as he was afraid of being caught. Now let us see the next paragraph. The ironmaster assumed that he felt embarrassed. Embarrassed means uneasy because of his miserable clothing. Please don't think that I have such a fine home that you cannot show yourself there, he said. Elizabeth is dead. Elizabeth here means here is the wife of the ironmaster. He said Elizabeth is dead. As you may already have heard, my boys are abroad and there is no one at home except my oldest daughter and myself. We were just saying that it was too bad we didn't have any company for Christmas. Now, come along with me and help us make the Christmas food disappear a little faster. Now, see up to this paragraph. So, on the other hand, the ironmaster was aware of his friend's miserable condition. So he tried to make him comfortable by saying that he should feel free to come to his house. He also told about his wife Elizabeth that she was no more, and this must be known to him. He further told that his sons were already settled abroad, and at present time he was living only with his daughter in his home. So he must not feel uncomfortable to be with him in his home. He requested him to be with him to celebrate Christmas. And in this way, he and his daughter may have some good company at the Christmas feast. He would be happy if he would give his consent to celebrate the Christmas. Okay, now I think it is clear. Now let us see the next paragraph. But the stranger said no, and no, and again no, and the ironmaster saw that he must give in. Now see. So we find that the ironmaster made many attempts to convince him, but the rat trap seller didn't accept his invitation. As I told you, he was afraid, and because of that, he did not accept the invitation of the iron master. Okay, now see the next paragraph. It looks as though Captain Von Stell preferred to stay with you tonight, Sojourn Stern, he said to the master blacksmith, and turned on his heel. Okay, now see. So the iron master felt sad, and so at last he said, to the blacksmith that it seemed that his friend Captain Von Stell, here Captain Von Stell is the peddler, okay, whom the ironmaster mistook as his old friend Von Stell. So, what I said, that the ironmaster was feeling very sad, and at last he said to the blacksmith that it seemed that his friend Captain Von Stell wanted to stay that night in the forge. Here, as I told you, that the ironmaster called the peddler as Captain Von Stell, as he mistook him as his old friend, whose name was Captain Von Stell. It was only because that the peddler was looking shabby and dirty, and also it was dark night. So it was impossible for the ironmaster to identify clearly that that he was not his old friend Captain Von Stell. Okay, now I think up to here it is clear. Now see the next paragraph. But he laughed to himself as he went away, and the blacksmith, who knew him, understood very well that he had not said his last word. So we find that the ironmaster went away and he was found laughing. It was clearly understood by the blacksmith that the ironmaster was hiding something. He even not bade him while leaving the place. Okay, so it was already clear to blacksmith that something was hidden by the iron master. Now let us see the next paragraph. It was not more than half an hour before they heard the sound of carriage wheels outside the forge, and a new guest came in. But this time it was not the ironmaster. He had sent his daughter, apparently hoping that she would have better powers of persuasion than he himself. Now, see this. So, after half an hour, the ironmaster sent his daughter to convince the Rattrap seller to accept the invitation, as he hoped that his daughter may having more persuasion power or convincing power rather than him. Okay, it means his daughter may bring his friend home. It is only because she was having more convincing power other than him. Okay, so today we will stop here, and in next lecture we once again continue. Hope that it is clear to all of you. Thank you.